At a young age, she stepped into the spotlight with a natural talent that was obvious to everyone that saw her. She displayed an incredible ability to sing, act, and captivate audiences. This innate gift catapulted her to stardom, and by age 14, she was a household name. Despite all of the applause and accolades, she wasn't quite able to see how special she really was. This was all just totally normal. As she grew older, she faced a critical moment in her career. The image that had made her famous was no longer working for her. The world expected her to stay the same, but it just wasn't who she was. In a bold move, she completely redefined herself, shedding the old, innocent image that had once been beloved by so many. The transformation was shocking. Some called it rebellious, others called it revolutionary. Her performances became controversial, her appearance radically different. And while many were quick to judge, she stood firm in her own vision and her values. She wasn't just changing herself, she was offering a new solution, a new way to be seen as a woman in the entertainment industry, unapologetically owning her own freedom and expression. The world was divided. She was simultaneously crowned and crucified. Some praised her for her breaking of boundaries. Others criticized her for going too far. But she had started a conversation that couldn't be ignored, and in time, her daring move was seen as a pivotal moment in pop culture. Not only had she broken free from her past, she offered a path for others facing the same struggle to redefine themselves in an ever-watchful world. From Hannah Montana to the real Miley Cyrus, this is the story of a 2-5 profile. In today's episode, I'll be covering the 2-5 profile in human design. I'll break down each of the individual lines of this profile and then synthesize how they work together in this unique and rare profile. I'll also be covering some of the pitfalls that can come up for this profile in business and what somebody with this profile can do about them in order to thrive, be on purpose, and fulfill their potential. Welcome to Heart-Centered Human Design, Emotional Intelligence, and Conscious Business, the show for heart-centered entrepreneurs that want meaningful success and work-life balance so they can wake up every day feeling empowered, inspired, and supported by work and life. I'm your host, Vanessa Naja, human design nerd, mentor, and business coach, and I'm so excited to help you unravel this system so you can use it to help you be on purpose and fulfill your potential. And if you're ready to create a business that you love, that's aligned with your purpose and fueled by your passion, that won't lead to burnout or require constant sacrifice, I will let you know how we could do that together at the end of the episode. The profile is a really important top-level aspect of your human design. It contains elements of how you fulfill your specific purpose, and it is also known as your public role and is often how you can be perceived by others. There are two parts to the profile, so the two lines in today's episode will be covering 2 and 5, and the first number, in this case, the 2, is going to be conscious. This is something that you're probably going to be really aware of. When I describe it to you, you'll see it in yourself. You'll know that this is something that is true for you. The second number in today's episode, the 4, is unconscious. This is more inside your body. This is something that you will not necessarily be consciously aware of, although it's something other people definitely see in you, and it's just as important as the first line. If you've been doing personal development for a while, you will probably be aware of the second aspect of your profile, but you just don't have as much conscious control over it as you do the first part. I did individual episodes on each of these lines back in season 1, so if you wanted to refer back to those, you could check out episode 31 on the second line and episode 34 on the fifth line back in season 1. Now, the 2-5 profile is a personal profile. It is a very rare profile. Only about maybe 2.1% of the population have this. And as a personal profile, it is really important for them to do their own internal work first before they go out and interact with others. So that personal work is so important before they bring out and share their gifts with the world. The second line is known as the Hermit in traditional human design, also known as the natural. They have natural gifts and talents that they don't necessarily see in themselves, but others see in them. They're known as the Hermit because they require a lot of alone time. It is in the time spent alone that they cultivate these talents. And eventually, somebody will call them out and recognize in them their natural gifts and talents. And if somebody with a second line profile is actually really passionate and really loves these talents and they follow their strategy and authority on this, they are designed to use these talents to make a difference in the lives of others. Now, how they're going to do that is going to be a little bit different based on the other number in their profile, and we will get into that shortly. Now, there are some interesting aspects about the second line that can be a little bit difficult in business. One of them is that they often have a really hard time seeing themselves. They can have a really hard time recognizing their own talents. They might even have a fear of never discovering their talent. And this also makes it difficult for them to talk about what they do or how they help people. So some solutions for this is, one is to really make sure that you are spending enough alone time, that you are cultivating the things that you love, and see what you get called out for. Your talents will be recognized by other people, provided you have spent that alone time. If you're not spending enough alone time, you may never really step into the expression of these talents for other people to recognize. So that alone time part is really essential. Also, having people that truly see you. This can be loved ones, good friends, trusted advisors, or coaches that can help draw out of you how you do what you do, so that when you are talking about it or writing about it in sales pages or in your messaging, you have a better understanding or a better way of explaining this to others. Ideally, you can always demonstrate what you do. It can be a lot easier for you to show what you do than for you to talk about or tell people how you do it. One great way to do this is through video content. Another aspect that can come up for second lines is they are naturally talented. Their gifts come easily to them. Something that somebody else worked really hard at might have been pretty easy for them. And there is so much conditioning in the world around things having to be hard, the things that really matter, we have to work really hard for. That kind of conditioning can lead a second line to believe that it should be harder, and they can dim their light or cover up their natural talents because it comes so easily to them. So as always, going through the human design deconditioning process or whatever kind of deconditioning work you like to do is really important here, making sure you spend enough alone time and being called out by the right people, the people that truly see you, knowing who those people are, and strategy and authority will help you find those people. Moving on to the fifth line, which is known as the Heretic in human design. And that can sound a little bit scary if it's a brand new concept for you. But fifth lines are natural leaders. Fifth lines are practical problem solvers, and they often provide out-of-the-box solutions, which is where that Heretic name came from. They are not necessarily going to give you these cookie-cutter strategies or these tried and true things that have a long history. Fifth lines will often come up with brand new things that have never been seen before and might be way ahead of their time. They are here to lead, and they universalize. And what that means is that they bring their solutions to the masses. Where the fourth line is more influential over their networks, the fifth line can actually be incredibly influential over strangers. And they often say strangers of consequence. And they actually can be more influential over those than people that are close to them. Now, what can happen with the fifth line is that in their aura, they have this energy of them being problem solvers. They are fixers. They have the solutions. And other people can sense in them, it's an unconscious process, but they can sense that the fifth line has something that the other person wants. They can project onto them that you with the fifth line, you have the solution that I want. And this may or may not actually be true. Now, this is where problems can arise. So if a fifth line receives a projection that they can solve a problem that they can actually solve, and then they solve that problem, their reputation is going to grow. It's going to be really great for their reputation. People like to share about when fifth lines have solved problems for them. However, when the fifth line gets a projection that they can solve a problem and they actually cannot solve it and they try and they fail, it's going to be detrimental for their reputation. So reputation is a big thing with the fifth line. And people with fifth lines can be afraid of being out in the projection field. They can hide away because they don't want to be seen, which of course can be problematic in business because you do have to market yourself. You do have to be out in the world in various different ways in order for people to know that you actually exist. And an important aspect of the fifth line is to really follow your strategy and authority, to know what problems you can solve, to only agree to support people or solve problems that are correct for you based on strategy and authority, and also to fully and authentically express who you are. Because when you are doing that, you will receive more of the correct projections that are actually right for you and less of the wrong projections of people wanting you to solve problems that you are not actually able to solve. Because fifth lines can be seen as saviors, there also can be a lot of conditioning here. Now, I do have a fifth line myself. It is not in this position. I'm actually a 5-1, not a 2-5. But when I learned about the fifth line aspect of my design, I recognized that, yes, my entire life, I have been trying to save people. My entire life, people have been coming to me for saving, and that can create some codependent issues and relationship struggles. And fifth lines can also really overextend themselves to try to help when it's actually not the correct thing for them to do. So boundaries are important, and really recognizing when it is the correct time for you to step in and when it is not. Another thing to watch out for as a fifth line is that flattery that can come with projections, because somebody might think that you can solve their problem. And so you feel really honored because they think you can solve this problem when actually you can't. And then you try to do it because you feel flattered and it's an ego boost and you don't actually solve the problem. And then again, your reputation suffers. And then that can cause you to step back, and it can be really painful for fifth lines. And it takes a fifth line to understand a fifth line. So if you're a 2-5 profile, I see you, I know how challenging this can be. And having a fifth line can also be really beneficial because it is very magnetic. They have a big aura, and you can also receive a lot of positive and correct projections as a fifth line. Now, bringing the 2-5 profile together. The 2-5 is somebody who, with their natural talent, is able to provide practical and out-of-the-box solutions for others. And this can also often happen in times of crisis. So oftentimes somebody with a 2-5 profile or a 5 in their design will be approached to solve an urgent problem or something somebody wants a quick solution to. So that can happen, just to be aware of that. Now, with the 2-5, the 2 likes to hermit. They really like to hide away. The 5 can sometimes get really scared of stepping out in the projection field because they have been burned at the stake before. And one of the pitfalls here is just hiding out, spending too much time in your hermitage because it's comfortable and you feel safe there. But in order to fulfill your purpose, you actually have to use your natural talents to create solutions for others, to universalize those natural talents to help other people. So finding that balance, yes, you do need your alone time. That is important. And also noting, what are people calling you out for? What are the gifts and talents people are recognizing you for? And if those are things that you love, that you are excited and passionate about, that light you up, these are ways that you can provide solutions for other people, which is where that fifth line comes in. So you do want to be careful about stepping into the wrong projections. Following strategy and authority is always key, to know which the solutions are that you can actually provide. And this is especially important for the 2-5 profile because you don't necessarily see those gifts or see them as anything special. Really following your strategy authority when you get called out, when you receive projections, when you are in a position where you can solve somebody's problems or be in a leadership position, really knowing when that is correct through strategy and authority is essential. And that's one of the things I love so much about human design, is that your strategy and authority are so practical in knowing when the timing is correct, who the right people are, what the talents are you're meant to share based on what you're being called out on and what your strategy and authority says is correct for you, who to lead, how to lead, when to lead. These are all things that your strategy and authority will guide you to. Now, anybody that has a 5 in their profile, leadership is a big theme. So using your natural talents in a position of leadership is a huge part of how you fulfill your purpose. Deconditioning some of the fears around leadership can be really important. And these are things that show up in all aspects of your chart, because you are not just your profile. Your electromagnetic frequency consists of all the different parts of your chart. So understanding how those all work together, where you might be more prone to fears and hiding out, where you might be more prone to rejections, all of these things are really important to understand and are wrapped up in the entirety of your human design chart. And if you want to dive deeper with me on that and you're ready to create a business that you love, that's aligned with your purpose, fueled by your passion, and won't lead to burnout or constant sacrifice, I would love you to join me in Passion, Purpose, Profit, my brand new program, which is your path to conscious entrepreneurship through human design and emotional intelligence. You can learn more at vanessanaja.com/PPP. So that's 3 P's for passion, purpose, and profit. I will also drop a link in the show notes. I would love to hear what you got out of this episode. How did this land? Are you a 2-5 profile? And if so, how does that show up for you? Or maybe you know a 2-5 profile. Maybe you're close to one. What are the talents that you have noticed in them that they maybe did not recognize in themselves? And can you call those out of them more without the projection of them using those talents to necessarily save you or others, but really allowing them to surrender to their own strategy and authority to know if that talent is one of the ones that will help them fulfill their purpose? Please leave a comment wherever you are listening or watching to let me know. Also, if you have any questions, drop those in the comment box and I will be happy to answer them. And if you're watching or listening somewhere where you can't comment, head over to Instagram at HD Vanessa Naja, send me a DM. I would love to connect with you there. And I have so many free resources there for you as well that dive deeper into all of the profiles in all aspects of human design, emotional intelligence, and conscious business. Last but not least, I would love and appreciate so much if you left a rating for me wherever you're watching or listening. So either give me a thumbs up, give me stars, or leave a review, because it makes such a difference, especially if you're listening on a podcasting platform. It makes such a big difference in me spreading the message, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for listening.